Let me now formally welcome General V.K. Singh, General Dr. V.K. Singh, Honorable Minister of State, Road Transport, Highways and Civil Aviation, Government of India, Justice K.G. Balakrishnan, Chief Justice, former Chief Justice of India, Shekhar Dutt. First time on Vision Forum. Shekhar Dutt, sir, very, very warm welcome to the show. Former Governor of Chhattisgarh, ex-Defense Secretary, unparalleled personality. I really would like to know somebody better. Somebody who held the post at the war front and won the Sena Medal in 1971 Bangladesh War. We have two few more veterans. General V.K. Singh is one of them of the 71 war. We also have General Kamula Rao. We have Brigadier Apte, our, one of the most wonderful veterans we have for the summit. Shekhar Dutt, after the 71 war, went into the IAS, landed up becoming the Director General of Sports Authority of India, then the Health Secretary, Defense Secretary, then the Governor of Chhattisgarh. It's a moment which we shall not forget. So many other guests. We have also got partners with us. SDFC Ergo is one of the technical associate partners with the organization today for this particular summit. We also have ICICI Lombard with us, representatives for both the organizations. There are a lot of names which are not part of the forum, which do not represent the forum, which do not patronize the forum for the last few months, but they have joined today's show and they can probably listen to the show because a lot of beautiful speakers. Madam Suti Kakkar is on board, one very dear friend of ours, former Secretary Government of India, bureaucrat. She also held the post of chairperson of National Commission for Protection of Child Rights. So host of dignitaries on board. We start the show. Opening remarks, as always, opening batsman, Brigadier Ajit Apte, celebrated soldier of the 1971 Bangladesh War. Today's topic is extremely, inextricably related to India's growth story going forward in the next 25 years. We have been checkered and plagued with road accidents, calamities over the last 25 years. Leader, unfortunately, shamefully, in the road accidents things. Heman Sarma, you need to take a note of all the discussions today. The minister is also there with us. We should ensure the next few months and years, we are no longer the leader in accidents, no longer a leader in the shameful history that we bring with us as a legacy as far as road traffic and accidents is concerned. Over to you, Brigadier Ajit Apte. Opening remarks. Short.
Thank you, Amit. I am indeed honored to be amongst distinguished panelists. General V.K. Singh, former Army Chief, Minister of State, Sri Shekhar Dutt, of course, a very well-known, renowned personality, Justice Balakrishnan, and my friend, General K.R. Rao and General Ranjit. Road safety is very important because, as you very correctly said, the aggregate number of accidents that take place probably every day, and then you can aggregate it for the week, month, years, is alarming. And one of the main reasons is that in our country, we just don't follow the rules. People are least bothered whether they're cutting corners.
National Road Safety Summit. Transport Minister.
Also, the necessity for rules and regulations as regards the road traffic is concerned, the adherence to instructions, the traffic lights, the violations that are being done, people who are driving after drinking. That is another important aspect which in other countries is taboo. So the manner in which our regulatory systems govern it is important. Ensuring that people who are pedestrians have also the right of safety. They also must understand when to cross the road. There was a system, and in foreign countries, where you have a light when a pedestrian wishes that light and the traffic will stop. I don't think many of our traffic lights have that system. So there are various, so possibly are not to the level of satisfaction which will permit the traffic to move smoothly, observe the traffic lanes. So there are, I think, multitude of reasons why the traffic discipline, the road discipline in our country is far below the accepted norms. Because there are many speakers who would like to put in their aspects. There are legal aspects, there are insurance aspects, there are a number of aspects which come in. The regulation by the traffic control police, how many people listen to them, how many people jump the lights. and all and all so and so. And what is our mitigation system? What is our punitive action? Unless our punitive actions are strong, the public will just get away by paying a few rupees as fines. So I leave it at that, and back to you.
Welcome to also two of the former CMDs of Mini Ratna Companies of India, Shri Dr. Akhilesh Kumar Jain, CMD Rajasthan Electronics Instrumentation Limited, and former CMD Telecommunication Consultants of India Limited, one technocrat, Mr. Vimal Vaklu. Welcome to the show, sir. Let me quickly bring in Stuti Kakkar. Madam Stuti Kakkar, she has handled disabilities to a very strong extent, and she was the one who was instrumental in setting up the department under Mr. Mukul Vasnik, the former Congress Minister of Social Justice, and then Thawar Chand Gehlot ji, the current dispensation's first Minister of Social Justice and Empowerment. Madam was Secretary Disability Affairs. She set up the department. She understands that it's a very close relationship between disabilities and road accidents and road safety. Madam Stuti Kakkar.
Amit, you want to start with me? I was hoping that we'll have the minister.
Madam, we cannot wait time. Madam,
starting
please go
event.
ahead. Please go
However,
ahead.
since you have emphasized on my disabilities identity, I would like to start with that, because one thing is, right from the beginning, persons with disabilities have been asking for mainstreaming and mainstreaming mobility transportation is one big way for mainstreaming of the disabled people. And therefore, we would like the roads and transport to be made disabled friendly, accessible with all safety because any society which is good for disabled people is good for everybody. It ensures, if we have those features into our road systems and transportation, it ensures that everybody will move, their safety will be ensured. Secondly, I would like to just touch upon this point. Often when there are accidents, nobody attends to the person who is involved due to many reasons. And even in disabilities, we were emphasizing the fact that if the police could be trained to give first aid, it would prevent a lot of disabilities, secondary disabilities due to, say, people who are involved in an accident, who get spinal injured, who subsequently due to blood loss and all have to be amputated and things like that. So this is another point. Third point, which I would like to make, and we have to look to our children. A lot of children are carried on two-wheelers by their parents. And in case there is an accident, children are most vulnerable to injuries and things. And therefore, we have to develop a system for ensuring that they also wear helmets. You must have, it's a very common sight to see, Mia, Bibi, and दो बच्चे एक आगे की तरफ और एक mother के hand में. But sometimes accidents do happen, and therefore children, they should be ensured by the regulators that they wear the helmets, and also when they are on their own on two-wheelers, whether it is two-wheelers like scooter, and whatever, and or whether they are bicycles, and abroad they have it, or whether they're playing games and all on things which ensures mobility. There are many things coming in, skateboards and roller skates and all that. So these were my 3 points which I thought I'll
Thank you, madam. Thank you, madam. Thank you, madam Stuti Kakkar ji. Thank you, madam Stuti Kakkar, for giving us an insight into the kind of profiles that are adversely affected with this kind of issue. Cycles, motor riders, pedestrians, they are majorly affected as per the data from the Ministry of Road Transport and Highways. And these are, they account for almost 50 to 70% of the people. In fact, the data issue is one that will be raked up by the Secretary General of the General Insurance Council today, Ayman Sarma, to the Honorable, in presence of the Honorable Minister and the former Chief Justice of India. Because, the data sharing, which is going to start from this particular year, the data sharing is going to be started from this particular year by the ministry under IRAD, a scheme called IRAD, where the entire database will be there. And that database, if it is shared, it will really stop, it will prevent reinventing of the wheel by the insurance companies. This is probably one of the initiatives which they need. Also welcome Lieutenant General Ravi Shankar, the former Director General of the Border Roads Organization. Border roads, they are amazing.
307.
We need to learn a lot from these border roads. Welcome to the show, sir. Now let me quickly begin for opening remarks. General Dr. VK Singh, Dr. General VK Singh ji, 1.5 lakh log affected होते हैं. In the corona year, 1.2 lakh log, as per the data from your ministry, got affected. And this was marginally reduced because of the less traffic on the roads. You know, the World Bank and the Asian Development Bank has also come to your partnership. I will come straight away to the point. 7,300 crores have been earmarked by your ministry for the road safety awareness issues, road safety campaigns, which also includes 550 crores for the awareness campaigns across all the states. Out of the 300 crores, almost 3,800 crores are being provided by your ministry. The remaining 1,800 crores each by the World Bank and Asian Development Bank. Vipin Prakash, can you switch off the mic? Okay, now let me tell you, this 550 crores of funds which are using for the awareness campaigns. I was talking to Justice Ajay Mohan Sapre a few days back. He is the chairman of the Supreme Court Steering Committee on the Road Safety Issues. Now, how are you going to be ensuring efficacious utilization of this 7,300 crores? What is the roadmap ahead in the midterm, in the short term, midterm? Sir, we straight away start with the issue. 7,300 crores, road safety, ये campaigns चलते रहेंगे, you know. Please, welcome to the show, General Chief Guest. Sir, welcome. Yes, General Saab, can we hear you? The mic is off, sir. Your mic is off.
General VK's mic, yeah.
General Saab, my question was to you, sir. Should I repeat the question?
Yeah, can you please repeat the question?
Sir, the question is 7,300 crores earmarked by the ministry as per the reports and data, 1.5 lakh accidents on an average per day, per year, as per the data of the ministry. It marginally reduced in the year of the pandemic, 2020, to 1.2 lakhs. It's a shameful figures and statistics, though we are driving this initiative for the past 2 years. The issue here is 7,300 crores that you're allocating for the road awareness campaigns. Now, out of that, 1,800 crores each by the World Bank and the Asian Development Bank, remaining 3,800 crores. Can you have your mic off, please, or you are out of the show? Okay, out of the 7,300 crores, 1,800 crores each earmarked by the World Bank and the EDP for road safety awareness campaigns and initiatives, 3,800 crores by the ministry to be led out to the 14 states that have been, you know, earmarked for the purpose.
Amit, if you speak slowly, I'll understand what you are saying. I can't understand what you are saying.
Sir, slowly I'll say again, out of 7,300 crores, which have been allocated by the ministry for road safety initiatives, 3,800 crores is being brought out by the ministry, 1,800 crores each by the World Bank and the Asian Development Bank, and 550 crores are being earmarked for awareness campaigns across the 14 states. Now, we have had a very, very, you know, kind of unfortunate history with respect to road accidents. How do you think the ministry and the country should proceed forward to ensure that road safety initiatives with this kind of money, and probably if this is enough, how can we take this forward so that in the coming few years, short term, mid term, long term, the road safety issues, the accidents, the calamities, the traumas are reduced to the minimum?
Let's first understand that road safety is not just the issue of the Ministry of Road, Highways and Transport. Road safety is an issue in which the whole nation should be involved and must get involved. Second thing we must understand is that the ministry can collect data, push things, and ensure that a suitable plan is put into action. Now, where the ministry is concerned, it has got 2-3 things which it does. One is awareness by allocating certain amount of resources to various states and the various NGOs and the various RTOs in each state so that they can bring awareness where the road safety is concerned. In addition, we also have members of parliament road safety committee at each district level, which is supposed to hold meetings every quarter and give us a feedback as to what is happening in terms of awareness and road safety issues in the country. The second thing is the ministry has to find out through its own resources by surveying all the roads as to which are the black spots, where are the problems where the road engineering is concerned, where are the problems where because of bad maintenance or other issues, there are chances of accidents. Along with this comes resources to ensure that you have at each toll resources which can do a quick reaction for an incident that may happen. So you need to have ambulances, you need to have cranes, etc., placed suitably on each stretch so that you can reach those places adequately in time to rescue people and to take them to the required trauma center or hospital, whichever is the nearest. And lastly, what you need to do is to ensure that in each state, a suitable awareness at all levels is brought out. For example, when we push these things through, Tamil Nadu was one of the states which carried out a study not on its own. They carried out a very detailed analysis, then restructured their traffic department in a manner in which it became more effective. They were able to bring down the accidents by at least 30 to 40%, which is a big thing. Now we take that as an example for various states to ensure that they do. However, the type of reactions you get because each state has its own issues. So, if I may say that it is not a question of money, it's a question of what kind of awareness people have. After all, accidents happen not just because the vehicles are plying on roads. Accidents also happen because there are too many people jaywalking on the roads. That sense of responsibility of protecting life is not there. Suddenly in the middle of the traffic, you'll find two people who hold their hands like this to stop all traffic and they walk through. They don't understand the requirement. You have a stretch of expressway, people jump over the various lanes. They want to cross over. They don't want to go over the overbridge. Now, these are the things which have to be taught right from stage that a child starts going to school, so that it gets embedded into his head. And when it gets embedded into the head, then you'll find there'll be much more awareness. Rest of the things are, they only kickstart things. They're only temporary measures. They do not really help long term because people keep changing. Where you talked of the World Bank has stepped in terms of ensuring that the black spots are taken care of. There are black spots which require major engineering work. There are black spots which require a different kind of work in terms of ensuring that you have suitable beacons and all other things placed or rumble strips made so that the traffic slows down. Please also understand that as the roads keep becoming better, expressways become smoother, the road speed also increases. And even if you lay down a limit of 100, a person wants to actually test his vehicle to a much higher speed limit. And that is where accidents occur, because in the midst of all this comes the issue of either using your mobile or talking to people or doing something else and not paying attention, you meet with an accident. So there are many factors where the safety is concerned. It is not just one factor.
So there is also talks about introducing the road safety issues in the textbooks of the classes 6 to 9 at all the state boards from this particular year, and then up to class 12 from the
You are not audible.
But sir,
You are not audible.
can you hear me?
Please keep your mic nearer you.
Can you hear me, sir?
Yeah.
So there are talks of introducing the road safety awareness issues in the textbooks of the school students at the state level, at the state boards, from classes 6 to 9, and then from up to class 12 from the next year onwards. What is the progress in this regard? Because the students, the kids, the next generation, they will be the flag bearers for 2047, and we need to ensure that these people understand the meaning of traffic, road safety awareness, rules, regulations, motor vehicles issues, penalties, the reprimand that is, along with the violations. They need to understand those things, because we've done what we've done in the last 50, 60, 70 years. What is the progress with respect to the school curriculum, and how's that been linked with the NEP, if you can throw some light?
Amit, everybody is aware that the syllabi for the schools and textbooks is made by somebody else. We tell them that please include certain things about road safety. Now they have to design the issues that need to be projected at various levels, at various age groups, in various schools, in various states. So the states come into play. It is not that we press a button from Delhi and suddenly it will start appearing in textbooks. It doesn't happen like that. That's why I said right in the beginning, road safety is a responsibility of each and every citizen in the country. It is not divorced. If we don't put in effort collectively, we will fail in our effort to control the 5 lakh incidents that happen and almost 1.5 lakh deaths that happen every year.
Okay, welcome to the show. Welcome to the show, Shri Anup Jalota ji. हमारे मशहूर गायक, आपका संगीत सुन के, listening to your music, lot of accidents, even if they happen, the most unfortunate things, lot of people can get healed. We've got Mr. Anup Jalota with us. बहुत बहुत नमस्कार अनूप जी, आपको बहुत बहुत अभिवादन, आप हमारे साथ जुड़े, अनूप जलोटा जी. We also have got Mr. BN Tiwari with us.
नमस्कार जी, नमस्कार.
नमस्कार अनूप जी, जरा दो शब्द आपकी तरफ से रोड सेफ्टी के ऊपर में. जस्टिस बालाकृष्णन, शेखर दत्त जी, फॉर्मर गवर्नर ऑफ छत्तीसगढ़, सुती कक्कर जी, ये लोग सब हमारे साथ हैं. जनरल वीके सिंह जी को आपने अभी हमारे साथ में कंपनीज जुड़ी हैं आज, हमारे साथ में मेडिकल एसोसिएशन के लोग हैं हमारे साथ, और आपसे जरूर सुनना चाहेंगे कि रोड सेफ्टी, ये जो ये घटनाएं होती हैं, ये देश के लिए कितनी इम्पोर्टेंट है, और गाड़ी के अलावा अगर सुना जाए तो कैसे ये बहुत फायदेमंद हो सकता है, गाड़ी में नहीं सुनना चाहिए.
देखिए, रोड सेफ्टी की अगर बात करते हैं तो सबसे मुश्किल चीज जो होनी चाहिए प्राप्त करने के लिए, वो होनी चाहिए ड्राइविंग लाइसेंस. कि ड्राइविंग लाइसेंस बहुत मुश्किल से किसी को मिले तो ही वो निपुण ड्राइवर होगा और एक्सीडेंट नहीं होंगे. लेकिन होता क्या है कि जी लोग तो किसी के नाम पे कभी भी ड्राइविंग लाइसेंस ले लेते हैं. ड्राइविंग लाइसेंस के लिए उसको जाना ही नहीं पड़ता है. कहते हैं हमारा चाचा है इंस्पेक्टर, हम बुला लेते हैं, चाचा जी दिला देंगे. यहाँ तो मतलब महात्मा गांधी के नाम पे भी एक लाइसेंस बन सकता है कोई अगर चाहे तो, क्योंकि वहां पर कोई पूछने वाला ही नहीं है. बहुत स्ट्रिक्टनेस चाहिए. आपको पता है यूरोपियन देश में, अमेरिकन कंट्रीज में, जब किसी का लाइसेंस मिलता है, ड्राइविंग लाइसेंस, तो जी वो बहुत बड़ी पार्टी करता है कि आज तो कमाल हो गया. वो बहुत जबरदस्त पार्टी करता है, क्योंकि उसके लिए ये बहुत बड़ी फ्रीडम होती है कि वो कहीं भी ड्राइव करके जाएगा. पहले वो किसी के आश्रय काम करता था, तो उसको तो होता था जो छोड़ने ले जाने वाला होता था. तो ड्राइविंग एक हल्की मुल्की चीज मत समझिए. ड्राइविंग ऑन रोड इज अ वेरी वेरी बिग थिंग फॉर ह्यूमन बीइंग. ये ड्राइविंग लाइसेंस उसको मिलना चाहिए जिसको खूब ठोक पीट के अच्छी तरह देखा गया हो. 2-4 बार फेल कर देना चाहिए, मैं तो कहता हूँ. वो बहुत मेहनत करे, तरीके से आए, क्योंकि यहाँ पर लाल जब लाइट होती है तो लाल लाइट का मतलब है कि रुक जाना, चाहे वो रात को 2 बजे भी हो. ये नहीं कि लाल लाइट जो है वो 10 बजे तक ही आप वैलिड समझते हैं. रात को 2 बजे लाल लाइट है तो निकल जाते हैं. एक्सीडेंट तो होंगे. ये चीजें चाहिए, और ये चीजें तभी होंगी जब इसको बहुत स्ट्रिक्टली सिखाया जाएगा. बहुत स्ट्रिक्टली. केवल फाइन करने से, बड़े बड़े फाइन करने से बात नहीं बनेगी। लाइसेंस दिया जाए अच्छी तरह ठोक पीट कर, ये एक्सीडेंट्स वगैरह बंद हो जाएंगे, मैं सच कर रहा हूँ।
अनूप जी आपकी ये जो राय है मंत्री जी के सामने आपने रखी, बहुत अच्छी राय है। लेट मी क्विकली ब्रिंग इन जस्टिस KG Balakrishnan ji, former Chief Justice of India, guest of honor for the evening, and he is an honor to have him on the show. Justice Saab, the Chief Justice of India, and but then we also have the former Justice, Judge of the Supreme Court, Justice Ajay Mohan Sapre, chairing the committee on the road safety issues. Now, from the court's perspective, legal perspective, and also as a citizen perspective, sir, your esteemed views on the subject, sir.
Mr. Amit Goenka, General Vikesh Singh, and other distinguished panelists. I am not an expert in this field, but I am really sorry to see the large number of lives are perished on the roads because of the motor accidents. India, it is a huge number compared to our population. It is a huge number of accidents occur for various reasons. One reason is that our roads are not wide enough to contain the large number of vehicles, especially the country roads. The national highways and other sufficiently wide. We have got 4 lanes and all, but the country roads are not wide enough to move safely the vehicles. Then our drivers, some of them are absolutely careless. They take the alcoholic drinks and drive, and there is no proper check by either by the police or any authorities to see that such people do not drive the vehicle. Once they are caught, they should be severely punished, and such drastic rules should be made effective. That is one way to bring down the accidents. Once the accident come, then it is really a shocking thing. They are not getting the medical aid immediately. There is no person is willing to take them to nearby hospital. All people just seeing them, they don't want to take the trouble of taking them to hospital because they are afraid that they will be involved in some criminal cases. They will be witnesses in a criminal case and all that. All these so many complicated issue is one. Recently, because of the COVID situation, the public transport system has come to an end. Almost so that when the public transport system is not effectively working in any state, people naturally would like to have their own motor vehicles. They have a large number of the scooters, motorcycles are purchased by people and started using. They are causing serious accidents in India. These motor vehicles, the two-wheelers are creating havoc in the roads. They hit, the pedestrians are get into trouble. They are some of the youngsters are absolutely reckless in as regards the speed of the two-wheelers are concerned. So this is to be checked effectively. So only thing that the public's motor vehicles should be more and more vehicles should be applied. Once the COVID situation is over, there should be then in states where the public transport system is effective and running more vehicles, there the accidents are less. In other states where the public system is not there, then the people try to travel in any form of vehicles. Then they get into trouble, and the drivers are to be properly trained. The driving license should be renewed, and along the renewal, they should be taken classes to proper tutor instruction should be given to them. So it is a huge problem in this country. So all citizens should be very well aware of these problems and should help each other to reduce the accidents. And many young, talented, the people are dying on the road. It's a very, very sad situation. They use motor vehicles, students, engineering college students, medical college students, and studying in brilliant courses. Their lives are nipped at the bud. It is a sorry state of affairs. We have to prevent this, and these sort of the seminars would, I am sure, that will help to study the problem and suggest to the authorities, suggest to the motor vehicles department, and also those who are in policy makers and power, those who are implementing the orders. So, and the motor accidents are also on increase. There are a large number of, I should also say, the motor accidents claims tribunal started working since long, but many cases are pending disposal in those tribunals. Those tribunals should be able to dispose of the cases, and whenever the cases are likely to be settled, the insurance companies should come forward, settle the cases, pay the money. And in some of the countries, once the accident happens, unless the compensation is paid to the victim, the driver will not be released from custody, or the vehicles will not be released from the custody. So there are some strict laws in some of the. So the moment accident occurs, driver is taken into custody. Pay the compensation, may not be some fixed compensation. Later they may file cases. Some fixed compensation is to be paid to the victim, and then only the driver will be released from custody, or the vehicle will be released from custody. So such drastic laws also could be, if it is on increase, these sort of drastic laws would reduce the motor accidents. If it is a clear case of negligence on the part of the driver, the vehicle should be immediately taken into custody, and the driver should be immediately taken into custody and should be answerable to the laws. So that is what I can say. Thank you for inviting me.
Sir, since we have a host of superstars on the subject with us today, and request your presence for a little more time before you say goodbye to us, like you've been saying with us for some time. Let me request now the honorable guest of honor for that evening, former governor of Chhattisgarh, Shekhar Duttji. He has been a Senate Medal winner of 71 War, Defense Secretary, former Health Secretary, and he's been a Health Secretary as well under Vajpayeeji's regime, as far as I remember. Shekhar Duttji, over to you, because we cannot waste time. Sir, switch on your mic, sir. Switch on your mic, sir. Sir, your mic is off.
Right. Thank you very much, Amit, esteemed General V.K. Singh, esteemed Justice Balakrishnan ji, and all the others. I don't know whether she is here. It's a real pleasure to be in this. This is a very serious topic, and hearing General V.K. on this is quite a delight, because I mean, he has pointed out some very important factors. I have seen the situation. Sorry, there's somebody else speaking on the. I have seen some interesting statistics, which is very, it points quite a lot of things. Say, India's fatal numbers of fatal fatalities is around 1.51, 1.5 lakh. And over 480,000 accidents. So 480,000 accidents and 150,000 deaths. China, on the other hand, is 212,000 accidents. That is less than half of that of India, with 63,000 deaths, which is very low. USA, very, very interesting. 2.2 million accidents with only 37,000 deaths. Now, this points that the accidents have happened in a way that has caused more fatalities in India. Now, if you see the percentage, you'll be surprised that 37% of these accidents in India have been that of two-wheelers, and 16% has been that of light vehicles. So obviously, more than 50% of the fatalities have happened because of accidents on two-wheelers. Now, this also points out the importance of what Justice Balakrishnan was saying, and also Anup Jalota ji had said that a very tight regulation on driving licenses. The driving license should be tested and given, and after that, there should be occasional testing, because it should not be easy for people to, and especially those who have committed accidents, to get their driving licenses renewed. There is no point of moving around on Indian roads and then causing, not only one accident causes a disruption on the road. And this disruption in terms of time and in terms of space is sizable. So a sizable amount of, there is a loss of economy in our country because of accidents. Now, can't we drive well? Now, having seen the armed forces driving in areas which is extremely difficult, the numbers of accidents are very low. It's obviously discipline, lack of discipline of the other drivers, which includes quite a bit of well-educated. I mean, the persons who drive on Indian road on two-wheelers or light vehicles are the ones who are the well-educated people. And they think, and like VK was saying, that you have an extremely good road or 4-lane, 8-lane roads, and you are driving faster and faster, and you can't control the vehicle. If you can't control it, you cannot be given the luxury of driving the vehicle on the road. And this has to be very, very rigorously applied. Now, I have seen another very strange thing, and that is where PK should see, because I think the Licensing and the Motor Vehicles Act are governed by his ministry. Now, violation of Motor Vehicles Act, and especially now with the CCTV, those who jump red light and others or speed, they are being caught and fines are being imposed. But it is not on the driver, but and the driver's career doesn't get reflected. Now, if a driver has met with these kind of accident where the owner of the vehicle has been punished, then what is intended perhaps is that the owner of the vehicle would stop using the driver, but that doesn't happen. So I suggest that there should be a method by which, even when these road violations have been done, the driver should be pointed out, and it is on the driver's license where a mark should be given. So maybe 1 or 2 or 3 such violations, and the driver's driving license should be punched. So 3, 4, 5 times punching the driving license would become invalid and he can't drive. Now, that would put a feeling of God fear in the driver, because no accident can happen if the drivers are careful. On the other hand, there should be a very good check sometimes at different places of driving with the drunkenness. There should be absolutely no pardon at all. The guy should be taken out and he should be put into the thana, and where he should wait till he recovers his and the breathalyzer gives a okay, and then he should be fined and all that sort of a thing, so that there is no shortcut, ladies and gentlemen, of and causing death to other. And I'm saying therefore deliberately, because it is not an accident is that persons have some loss of vehicle or loss of life, but they've also caused a huge disruption in economy. The other thing which is very important is that road engineering should be such that there should be places where, if it's prone to have some of these kind of accidents, the road safety should be such that nobody should be allowed to drive faster than a particular limit. And anybody who is found that he is driving faster or she is driving faster should be asked by the police to come on one side, and thereafter just take him off and let him walk or whatever. But he should not be allowed to sit on the driver's seat. Now, with these kind of perhaps rigorous sort of imposition of deterrents, we will have, because 150,000 deaths, ladies and gentlemen, and we have quite a lot of soldiers. I see General Ravi Shankar also, and we never lost our personnel that numbers in wars. So all the wars together have not put, say, 1.5 lakhs of people who are dead in Indian roads by accident in a year. So that is a kind of thing. And at the same time, our armed forces drivers are driving in far more difficult terrain and most difficult conditions. But yet, how can they maintain such a wonderful record? So it has to be a bad driving or a bad driver who causes this accident. And therefore, I think rigorous punishment, and the more you violate, more times you violate, the greater the punishment. And sometimes perhaps it should be that you will never get a road license, driving license, because your record is so bad. So this is the kind of thing I would suggest. And thank you very much. The national highways are doing extremely good work. More than 30 kilometers of road length are being added onto Indian transportation, and every day. And all are 90%, in fact, 95% of all the goods and services transportation is done by Indian roads. And national highways, state highways, and all these roads are fairly well used. I would suggest that some of effort should be, and I think General VK would understand it, by using our waterways. Germany's 80% of Germany's industrial produce are transported on inland waterways.
Very true.
Only 0.03% or 0.04 or 4% is transported in Indian situation. by inland waterways. There's hardly any transportation. And yet we have got, if you fly over India, low fly, and you will find the entire place has got lovely, entire terrain of India has got lovely waterways. So we should have water. We should take the pressure out of the roads, and we must use that also. And of course, training is very important, and we should not allow we should not allow the untrained fellows to go scot-free. Thank you very much. Jai Hind.
Thank you for wonderful suggestions, former Governor of Chhattisgarh, Shekhar Dutt, former Defense Secretary and former Health Secretary as well, Director General Sports Authority. But in the same context, you've got the President of the Association of Healthcare Providers of India, Dr. Alexander Thomas, who has joined the show. We've also been joined by B.N. Tiwari, President of the Film Association of India, Film Federation Association of India. He'll bring the awareness issue to the forefront along with the celebrities. We've also been joined by many other guests, but let me quickly bring in Alex Thomas. Dr. Thomas, President of the Association of Healthcare Providers of India. Road safety, people are talking about the reasons for the road safety accidents, fatalities, calamities. But from the healthcare perspective, we represent 8,000 plus hospitals in India, 8,000 hospitals. The next thing important to us is insurance and health. Quickly, because you got a board meeting going on, you stepped in from the board meeting. Sir, Alexander Thomas, Dr. Thomas, your views from the road issues, accident issues, and how the hospitals have geared up to take care of the citizens of this country.
Thank you, Amit, and thank you for this opportunity. If you look at road traffic accidents in today, it's actually an epidemic in our country. It is not only a public health issue, but it's also an economic one. I'll just give you some figures. Our country loses $58 billion, or a little more than 3% of its GDP every year, due to road traffic accidents. And so the benefits of improving road safety go far beyond increasing the overall quality of life for India citizens, and will definitely save millions. If you look at India specifically, we have the worst road safety record in the world. But the good thing is there is a new law which is coming up, which we hope will change this. Now, looking at some very bare facts. In the world, we lose about 1.35 million people dying in traffic accidents every year. And cumulatively, it's much, much more than what COVID has done. Unfortunately, in India, we lose about 1.5 lakh people every year. We're talking about 2018. Those are the statistics I got. So now it's probably closer to 2 lakh lives on Indian roads. For only 2% of the motor vehicles globally. We are only 2% of motor vehicles globally, but we are responsible for more than 11% of the total global deaths due to road traffic accidents. So I think it's important that this new motor vehicle bill comes in and that we implement it quickly. And let me just quickly take you to the road safety bill. How is it going to help? It's going to look at road safety and infrastructure planners. It looks at creating a board administratively with representation from state governments to advise both the center and the state on road safety and traffic management. This bill empowers the central government, and they're doing this to come up with a national transport policy. And I think with the present budget, a huge amount of money is going into setting up a road, so it becomes doubly important. This bill also links the infrastructure design. So all the roads that we're going to see in the next few years, it is going to be linked to safety. So according to this bill, if the contractors fail to design and maintain safe roads, the government can penalize them, and we hope that this will not happen. So it looks at various avenues to improve road safety. So it also looks at vehicle manufacturers. So the government is empowered to ask manufacturers to recall motor vehicles if they could potentially damage the health and safety of road users, either because of design flaws, emissions, or other features. And here again, it's a carrot and stick policy. where if road safety and designs are good, you will be incentivized, otherwise you will be penalized. Now, the third point in this bill is the road safety and road users. Here again, fortunately or unfortunately, the provisions of the bill is enhanced penalties, which actually should not happen in a society, but I think there is no other options here. If you look at the traffic offences in India today, like drunk driving, speeding, their penalties are very low. So we're hoping that with enhanced penalties, this will act as a deterrent and improve patient safety. This bill also creates a motor vehicles accident fund that provides compulsory insurance to all road users in India. And if you look at the state government policies, most of the states have a policy that if an accident victim is brought to the hospital, they should be seen without looking at the costs. The government will reimburse the expenses of the first 48 hours. And this fund also will be able to enhance that. The other sore point was that the Good Samaritan, that anybody who helps a crash victim by providing emergency medical or non-medical support is usually called to the court. He faces civil or criminal action. So here, I think that has been done away with. And also importantly, many of our accidents are committed by juvenile drivers. The bill proposes that the guardian or owner of the vehicle would be guilty. So very briefly, what has the government done? And I think we have actually moved quite a bit over the last 2 decades. If you look at the 11th and 12th 5-year plans, it has been envisaged that 116 trauma care centers are going to be set up along highways, and the central assistance is in the region of almost 500 crores. Now, what is broadly envisaged in this is that for every 1,400 kilometers of a highway, there should be at least a level 1 trauma center. A level 1 trauma center is a trauma center with the latest facilities like a MRI scan, a neurologist, all that in attendance. There should be at least 2 trauma centers in this 1,400 kilometers. There should be level 2 trauma centers. There is a little less than that for which are like a secondary care hospital. There should be at least 6 trauma centers along 1,400 kilometers. And the third level of trauma, which is basic life support and basic medical facilities, we're looking at 6 to 8 in this stretch. And also looking at 28 ambulances in this stretch of highway. So I think once this is implemented, I think what the government needs to do is that we need to implement this soon, because every year the number of deaths are going higher and higher. The private hospitals are very happy to be partner with the government schemes. I know that many of our members in AHPI have partnered with the government to set up trauma centers level 1 to level 3 across the country. And I want to commit in this meeting that we will look forward working with the government hand in hand to try and significantly reduce the mortality and the morbidity that happens from road traffic accidents. Thank you once again for giving me this opportunity.
Dr. Thomas, before I let you go, because you have a board meeting, as I told the participants that you came out of your board meeting because of the exigency of the situation. This insurance company is being represented by SGFC Ergo, ICICI Lombard, and many other stakeholders from the general insurance sector, and also the Secretary General of the General Insurance Council, with whom you had a date, a few months back. MN Sarma is also there. What would you like to say to this insurance gathering, especially Dr. Sarma, because he's going to take up the case with all the insurance companies with respect to settlement of the issues. Then we take things forward. We have General K. Rao coming after this.
Anita, what I would say is that I think all of us should work in hand. I think it's important to keep, all of us are in the health sector, all of us are there because of patients. So keeping the patient primary and focus, I think the healthcare providers, the health insurance providers, and the government should work in hand to ensure that. And number 2, if there are any unforeseen accidents or trauma secondary to road traffic accidents, that the patient should be treated immediately without looking at the cost, but at the same time ensuring that the healthcare providers and the insurance companies are financially viable.
Saurabh from ICICI Lombard, he represents ICICI Lombard. Saurabh, quickly, you have a question to Dr. Thomas, I guess, or some comment, please.
Yeah, I would just like to give some comments. First of all, a very good afternoon to all the esteemed panelists and a very warm welcome to my industry colleagues, and a big thank you to the organizers for initiating this discussion. A very important topic is being discussed today. And if I have to take cue from whatever has been spoken by all the esteemed panelists, then there are a few points which I would like to illustrate on. One is self-discipline. Ministry alone cannot reduce the accident frequency, as rightly said by General VP Singh. Several changes have already been done by the government at the central level, and it is now the duty of the state government for an effective implementation of these initiatives. And then we spoke about, somebody raised this important point of that the curriculum needs to be revised. Here I would like to say that it's a matter of acquired knowledge. The first school for a child is home. Parents are the first teachers. We see often that parents break lights, traffic signals, and this is what is observed by the children. And they also tend to do the same thing. One important point was raised by Justice Balakrishnan was with respect to the use of public transport. I think there is a high volume of vehicles on road. Per family, a family of 4 people will currently own at least 2 or 3 vehicles on them. So that is something which needs to be reduced. I know that will not be welcomed by the automobile industry, but yes, that's a fact. Then the issuance of driving license, which Mr. Jalota was also mentioning. I think it has to be at parallel how we issue a gun license in the country. In Western countries, it is exactly the opposite. The gun license is more easier to avail rather than a driving license. So I think we'll have to adopt a lot of new things from the Western world. And then risk plotting is something which needs to be done at a ward footing basis. We as a company have done basis our data. And I think the regulator, the IRDAI, has also prescribed this for all the insurance companies to follow this, so that this collated report can then be shared with the ministry, MORTH, and then corrective steps can be taken with respect to the road infrastructure. And I think insurance penetration is also, I may sound very biased on this particular point, but yes, there are 57% of the vehicles, and this is the government data which I'm quoting, please don't take me wrong, but there are 57% of the vehicles on insurance in the Indian roads which are uninsured, and this is a huge volume. So I think there is a basic necessity of people getting insurance as well for third party. So those were my limited points.
Thank you, Mr. Saurabh Jaiswal. Quickly bring in now Lieutenant General Kamula Rao. Kamula Rao is the former DG Artillery of the Indian Armed Forces and extensively amazing speaker, secondly to the point. And General Rao, welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Amit. Firstly, it may be sheer coincidence that the United Nations had celebrated the Road Safety Decade 2011 to 20. Can you hear me, Amit? Yeah, okay. Now, I think the way I looked at it, there were basically 4 components one should really focus on. And 3 already got focused on. I firmly believe that the insurance people will certainly inject. Health people will also get involved in ensuring that the accidents are taken care of. But what is more important is prevention is better than cure. So for prevention, I would like to quote 2. One is to go along with Mr. Anup Jalota, my dear friend and senior of Defense Secretary Sekhar Dutt sir, who talked about educating and ensuring the driving license becomes one of the tough jobs. Even now the speaker has just spoken. Second person in this particular gambit is, I feel the person who is missing even in the discussions is the law enforcing authority, Amit, if I may say so. Some of the police side, some of the law enforcing people who are clearing the vehicles to be fitness. Some of the vehicles which accidents occur also due to the fitness not being there. State to state, you find differences in accidents. Why? Because I believe that in some states, the police is really tough and strict. In some states, possibly the police is not all that strict. It may be worth the while to really analyze some statistics of state-wise and understand, and that may be an eye-opener to some. I do not know this.
I generally have not interrupted while anybody is speaking, but you cannot, you ignited something so much close to my heart that I just can't stop from speaking out on this. Only just a small intervention. I had invited Mr. Prakash Singh, the father of police reforms of this country, in my show, and you've been also there along with him. Former DGP of Uttar Pradesh and former Director General of the Border Security Forces. He is somebody who knows police by the back of his hand. He knows India's police system. He set up the India's police system. Prakash sir's son today, Pankaj Singh, is the DG of the BSF. Prakash sir told me very clearly, Amit, 50 रुपया का हवलदार जो है, उससे कुछ expect मत करो. जो politician 50 crore रुपया ले रहा है और जो rules बना रहा है, ask him to set the stage straight.
Yes.
So don't expect police people.
No, not that. I think we have some good people very much there. Leave aside, you see, there will be exceptions always. But I firmly believe that we are in a great nation, and I'm very positive that a lot of people are working towards making us mightier. Coming back to this, so I'm looking at even a law enforcing person who's clearing a vehicle for fitness, an engineer who's clearing a road. Their self-conscious has got to be rekindled. And the basic, as long as we take care of these two, that is the driver on the vehicle and the person who is ensuring the driver is good enough to drive on the road and the roads are fit enough to be driven, the vehicles are fit enough to be driven. So I personally feel that we need to get stricter as far as this license is concerned. Every due apologies, every Tom, Dick and Harry, as somebody has rightly said, he doesn't even go and sit there. Anup Jalota ji very rightly said. So I think we need to come down very, very strictly about it. Of course, things are certainly improving with the technology because the person is made to sit in front of it on a particular this thing when the photograph is being taken. So you cannot even substitute another photograph, right? Things are on the improvement. But if at all, when you look at the percentages, we are somewhere about 16.6, I think, out of 1 lakh when the statistics are taken. This is another way of looking at statistics. Sweden has got 2.2 deaths or something per lakh. India has got about 16. South Africa has got about 25. So you're not so very well off. The major problem is not so much with the roads and so much with the vehicle fitness, as much with the drivers, as much with the ensuring that the drivers are fit to drive the vehicles. I think if at all we really get off to that particular this thing with all the strictness what we can do, we should be able to just a minute, sorry, I have to put out the switch. Yeah, we should be able to handle the situation, and I'm sure things will only improve. Thank you.
General Rao, you know, there are many facets to this road safety issue that we'll be raking up today in the next 1 hour approximately before the show ends. Let me quickly also ask one of the legal doyen we have with us, Justice K.G. Balakrishnan ji, former Chief Justice of India. Sir, juvenile issues is a major issues with respect to such accidents on the roads and vicarious liability. Where do you think it stands with respect to such road accident issues? Justice K.G. Balakrishnan ji, sir. Juvenile, vicarious liability and the reprimand and the penal code. Sir, your mic is off, I guess. Sir, I guess your mic is off. Justice K.G. Balakrishnan ji. Okay, let me quickly bring in now Lieutenant General Ravi Shankar, the man who headed the Border Roads Organization. The roads, the construction of roads is very inextricably linked to the accidents and the road traumatic issues that we face. General Ravi Shankar, your views, because you've been able to maintain roads at the highest qualities despite whatever is happening on the civilian streets. General Shankar, your mic is off, I guess.
Ravi, you're on mute.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Thank you for giving me a chance to say a few words on this. More than when I was in the border roads, it is after retirement for the last 10 years or so, I have been with the road construction industry in various capacities. As a consultant and constructing some of the roads, looking after the maintenance and things like that. But more important, I have been closely observing the activities of the Indian Road, International Road Federation, Indian chapter. which has been focusing on safety very closely. So let me just expose you to a few of the initiatives that are being taken at the highest level. There are so many aspects involved. Unless we don't look at them in a methodical way, we will be hopping from one to the other, saying this is the most important. What is universally felt is that there are 5 aspects. They call it the 5 E's. So let me just explain that and give you an idea of what is happening and what I feel more could happen. Now, the first, roads, which everybody said should be better. It's a fact. I have observed it. Safety audits are being carried out much more strictly. Black spots are being identified. But then there are so many old roads which were built to standards years earlier. And today the cars are getting faster. The traffic is getting heavy. It is a problem. But engineering is one. Engineering of roads is one. The next E is engineering of vehicles. Again, here we are talking of better systems, better brakes. We're talking of airbags and all that. And you all know all this is being stressed on. The third is what most of you have been talking about. The third E is education. Now, education has to come for the schools, education has to come for the individuals, education has to come for others, and all of you are touching on it in various ways. I've seen a long list of things, initiatives being taken by the IRF just to promote education. It goes on to making films, it goes on to teaching in schools, it goes on to making syllabi and things like that. And a huge effort is on, but it is still much more has to be done. The fourth E, again, everybody has been talking about, is enforcement. We want the police to do it better. We want things to happen better. We want the license to be monitored. We want people to be caught. We want drunkards to be caught. All this comes under enforcement and a huge effort is on. And the last E is something which often gets neglected. It is emergency care. So I'll quickly just go over the E's: engineering of roads, engineering of vehicles. Then we have education, we have enforcement and emergency care. Now, in this emergency care, this of course comes after the accident, but even this has to be looked after because many of the accidents can be stopped well before people actually succumb to the accident. So there is that medical aid to be given within the golden hour so that the person survives. So a huge effort is on even towards this. Today, where people are trying to train people on the wayside on medical effort, so that today, in case an accident comes, people don't turn away from the accident, but go there, and at least 1 out of the 10 people coming there has got some sort of a training to give first aid. He's aware of the Good Samaritan rule, law, which allows him to take part in an accident and it protects him from being stuck with the police for too long. His name will be kept. So all this education is happening, and there have been workshops being carried out along a highway on both sides, where restaurant owners, shopkeepers, everyone are taught these things on road safety. This is something which I'm sure all of you are not aware of. There is also an effort to try and map all the facilities along roads and things like that, so that in case an accident takes place, it is very easy to connect to these places. Now, all these are great ideas which have started, and they have happened at 1 or 2 places. It has to happen much more. These ideas I'm talking about are what I saw initiatives being taken by the Ministry of Roads along with the IRF. The main problem is that we have a lot of first users of the roads. Many people who have never seen a cycle in their last generation today are on cycles and on the road. After that, you have people getting motorcycles and coming on the road. And every time a first user comes, he is not sufficiently experienced. Unfortunately, he is not educated either. Now, this has to slowly change. And that is where a lot of effort has to go in. Let me give you a simple example of a cyclist on the road.
Many speakers, sir. 2 more minutes, sir, if you don't mind, sir.
Just
Pointedly, yeah.
A simple example is a cyclist on the road. The number of accidents of cyclists on the road has reduced drastically after one initiative of putting luminous stickers on the cycles so that they are seen at night. Most of the accidents were happening because cyclists were coming on the road and they were not seen. So a great initiative was taken by putting reflectors, by putting luminous strips on it, by stopping cyclists and doing it free of cost for them and letting them go. This itself reduced the number of accidents. Now this cyclist has come on the road unaware that he's exposed to so much of problems. So what we're tackling with is a huge problem in which everyone has to do his little bit. And I think it's not going to be easy just to, as they said, ask one ministry or the other to do it. A general awareness has to take place. And what each one of us can do is try and participate in as many such events as possible and pass the word around. Thank you.
Okay. We had Lieutenant General Ravi Shankarji, former DGPRO, Border Roads Organization, sensitizing us on the various right things along with initiatives by the Indian Roads Foundation. B.N. Tiwari ji, Birendranath Tiwari, President of the Federation for Workers of Indian Cine Employees, 5 lakh film workers, India's greatest association for film workers in the country. He's a president over the last 4 years now. And he's somebody who can really take this awareness campaign. Why the film industry is important. Celebrities, film stars, sports people is what people really get, get listening to. And they really listen to very well. Tiwari ji, ये road safety का जो issue है, हमने कभी किसी Incredible India देखा, सत्यमेव जयते जी देखा, अमिताभ बच्चन जी आए, प्रियंका चोपड़ा जी है Incredible India के campaign brand ambassador. रोड सेफ्टी की ब्रांड एम्बेसडर आप किसको बनाना चाहेंगे? कौन है जो हमें इस दिशा में लोगों को उत्साहित कर सके कि रोड सेफ्टी का जो मामला है, इट्स अ वेरी स्मॉल इशू, बट जब किसी को दिक्कत होती है तो पूरा परिवार बर्बाद हो जाता है. इकोनॉमी की बात नहीं है, सबसे पहले परिवार बर्बाद होता है. तो ये रोड सेफ्टी आपकी इंडस्ट्री के जो बड़े बड़े सितारे हैं, जिनको हम सितारा बोलते हैं, क्यों ना कुछ रोशनी ये लोगों की बुद्धि पर भी डालें इस देश की.
बिल्कुल सही बात कर रहे हैं. मैं जनरल वीके सिंह को नमस्कार करना चाहूंगा, बालकृष्णन जी जो चीफ जस्टिस हैं, और आप तमाम सारे गेस्ट जो आए हुए हैं, बहुत बड़े बड़े लोग आए, अनुप जलोटा जी भी आए,
शेखर जज जी, फॉर्मर गवर्नर ऑफ छत्तीसगढ़.
गवर्नर साहब, तो बिल्कुल बिल्कुल सबको प्रणाम मेरा. मैं चाहूंगा कि जो लोग हमारे इंडिया में हैं, अवेयरनेस तो सबको पता है कि कहाँ कहाँ क्या प्रॉब्लम हो रही है, मगर विजुअल लोगों तक पहुंचना चाहिए. फिल्म के स्टार जो हैं, अमिताभ बच्चन है, अक्षय कुमार हैं, सलमान खान है, जिन्होंने काफी बड़ा एक्सीडेंट किया था. रोड ड्राइविंग के बारे में उनको तो ज्यादा नॉलेज होगा. ऐसे लोगों को ब्रांड एम्बेसडर बनना चाहिए कि हमने मिस्टेक कहाँ किया, ड्रिंक एंड ड्राइव से कहाँ दिक्कत हुई थी, कितने लोग मरे, उसमें कितनी परेशानी हुई, कितना परिवार उजड़ गया, आज तक वो उसकी परेशानी में चल रहे हैं. तो ऐसे लोगों को आना चाहिए, खुद बोलना चाहिए सरकार को कि इसका मैं ब्रांड एम्बेसडर फ्री में करना चाहता हूं, और लोगों के बारे में कुछ अच्छा काम करें. क्योंकि जब स्टार बोलता है तो आम आदमी उसके बारे में सुनता है. और आज जो थोड़ा सा कम हुआ है, मेरा जहां तक मानना है कि हमें कुछ कम लगता है, क्योंकि लोग फाइन बढ़ जाने की वजह से लोग छोटी मोटी की गलतियां करना बंद कर दिए हैं. एक्सीडेंट तो हो रहा है क्योंकि रोड पर चलते हैं लोग, सड़कें ठीक नहीं है, खड्डे हैं, बहुत प्रॉब्लम है, सारी दिक्कतें हैं. अभी बहुत कुछ बनना बाकी है. मगर स्टारों को मैं 3-4 नाम है, अजय देवगन, सलमान खान, अमिताभ बच्चन, और अक्षय कुमार, इनको आना चाहिए और खुद बोलना चाहिए, सरकार को कांटेक्ट करना चाहिए कि हम करना चाहते हैं, हमें मौका दिया जाए। ये बहुत बड़ा काम है, परिवार खत्म हो जाता है, या तो लोग अपंग हो जाते हैं, दिव्यांग बन जाते हैं, उनको किसी लाइफ खत्म हो जाती है, तो परिवार को बचाने के लिए अच्छा काम है, लोगों को आना चाहिए। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद, क्योंकि बहुत सारे गेस्ट आपके पास, पहली बार इतनी लंबी लिस्ट देख रहा हूँ, परेशान हूं मैं, तो इसको आगे बढ़ाया जाए। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद अमित जी और तमाम गेस्टों को।
तिवारी जी, ये जो रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है, ये हम सब पे मिलके है कि हम जो है इसको स्टार्स को साथ में जोड़े, ताकि क्रिएट हो।
मैं इसके लिए खुद मदद करूंगा, आपके साथ चलूंगा। आप आइए, आप बताइए मुझे, मैं इन स्टारों को खुद अप्रोच करूंगा कि वो लोग इसमें आगे बढ़े और आकर के अपनी बात कहें।
ठीक है तिवारी जी, नाउ लेट मी क्विकली ब्रिंग इन General Mr. M.N. Sarma. Sarma ji, you had a lot of issues with respect to the IRAD, which you need to flag off with the, and the insurance settlements, which you need to flag off with the minister and the top dignitaries here, because you represent the entire industry. But before I bring you in, some words of, notes, some notes of caution or some important notes that the SDFC Ergo representative, Mr. Hitendra Kothari, if he's still there on the show, would like to share with us. We've also been joined by Manimala, KBN Manimala. She is the CEO of the Sankara Eye Foundation. Eye is critical to life, and they have treated lakhs of people, including the former Prime Minister of London, of UK. She's also treated him for the eye surgeries, traumatic issues. We've also been joined by Dr. H.S. Chabra, who is the CEO of Indian Spinal Cord Injuries at Delhi. So, but before I bring them in, Dr. Sarma, Mr. Sarma, Secretary General of General Insurance Council, before you, SDFC Ergo, would you like to make some comments? Is Hitendra Kothari with respect to your organization's initiatives, and what would you like to say to the minister?
Mr. Amit, you're asking me, M.N. Sharma, or Mr. Kothari?
Mr. Kothari, Mr. Hitendra Kothari, or somebody representing SDFC Ergo here on the show. Is there somebody representing SDFC here on the show, SDFC Ergo on the show? We had Mr. Kothari, Hitendra Kothari's name suggested from SDFC Ergo. Is there somebody representing SDFC Ergo? Some Jiva, Mr. Jiva is there from SDFC Ergo, I can see on the screen. Hitendra Kothari from Mr. Hitendra from SDFC Ergo. Mr. Hitendra Kumar from SDFC Ergo, we cannot hear you. Mr. Hitendra Kothari from SDFC Ergo, okay, Sarma ji, can we listen to you, please? And the question I think you have for the minister.
No. Actually, I think, Amit, you misunderstood what I have mentioned to you during the conversation. But before we go into that, I hope I have 5 minutes to talk here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, please. This is about a very, very important and crucial subject that we've been discussing. I'm sure 2 hours is not enough. Maybe even 2 days may not be sufficient to really zero in on all the areas that is going to affect this situation. The 5 lakh road accident cases getting reported each year, some about 1.5 lakh people dying, all that. Out of that 1.5 lakh dying may be the near about right number, definitely. But then the 5 lakhs is too small a number. We're talking only about those cases which are reported to the police. But you and I know that how many times we have driven on the roads and had some minor knocks here, there, scratches, dents, and people falling down from two-wheeler, getting up and taking the vehicle and going. If you count all of them, it will be easily 10 times more than the 500,000. They're all accidents, only road accidents. But and prevention of this, and or at least reduction of them, how to bring them down to the least numbers, requires a multifaceted approach.
a multi-pronged approach. All the speakers that have spoken so far, including General VK Singh sir, Mr. Anup Jalota ji, and Sri Shekhar Dutt ji, and all of them, and everybody else also, they all raised very, very pertinent points, and they're all put together, plus a few more taken together, will bring down this issue under control, and we will have a decent number, and then we can raise our head and say that our country is safe enough. So all this to happen, a multifaceted approach is needed. I've seen everybody mentioning about every other approach, all of them valid, of course, but then one aspect nobody touched, which I thought I should mention here. That is the public education. Yes, they even said education is important, and the 5 E's and all that, and then school curriculum and all that has been spoken. But we're all missing one important thing. There are what people do watch. Everybody watches TV every day, morning to evening. They keep watching the TV all the time. But what are we getting from this TV? What are we seeing there? The serials and somebody acting like a villain and somebody doing something else, and maybe comic shows or political debates, all that. Instead of that, can't we devote at least some 10 second strips, small strips, which are developed, like, the film industry personnel, the gentleman was mentioning that he would help us get the film actors support in getting the, some small films made to educate the people. That is great. But then they need a script to be made. These actors only can show the face and then do some action there. But then you need a script to be prepared, a total film to be shot, and the film after making, it needs to be put on air so that people can see. And who can do that? It's only the TV channels. Now we have Ministry of Information and Broadcasting. Why can't they make it a compulsory for every TV channel to compulsorily air at least 10 such 10 seconds or 20-second films in between the various shows? So they'll have to make it compulsory. They have to do it for free. They have to participate in the nation's safety endeavors. They have to do that by doing this. So only doing something like that can happen. Some good can happen. Otherwise, merely we discussing, conducting seminars, workshop, discussions, spending money is not going to save. Ultimately, discipline has to be instilled. The importance of human life and importance of sticking to lane discipline, road discipline is important. What is lane discipline? How to take a turn. If you're turning right, how without changing your lane, how to make a turn. If you're turning left without changing lane, how do you have to make a turn? What are the signals you have to show? What are the electronic signals, how they should be functional? How the red lights on your vehicle should be functional all the time? And how your vehicle need to remain clean and visible to the others. All these things need to be educated and told, and that can be done in small steps, in different messages, like about lane discipline, about wearing helmet, about driving without drinking alcohol. All these things, small snippets like things can be prepared of 10-15 seconds, and then they should be aired through the TV channels between the various programs. Something like that done, then only the message will spread and it will reach the people. And then the country, if the accidents are happening, it's 50% is due to lack of discipline, and the remaining is 50%. And here I have to compliment the Ministry of Road Transport and Highways that they're doing a wonderful job. If there is any ministry in this whole country, it is this Ministry of Road Transport and Highways that is doing a fantastic job participating in the nation's development. They are doing their job, building beautiful roads and going. They even brought out an amended Motor Vehicle Act in 2019. They did their best to put deterrent punishments by imposing higher penalties. But what happened? Different states, they see it from the political angle only. They say a particular political party in power has come out with a legislation, and they want to project it in bad light, and they want to show as if they are closer to the people and friendly to them, and they want to show that penalty of 10,000 should be reduced to 1,000, penalty of 5,000 should be reduced to 500 rupees, something like that. Keep on arguing, saying some people even dared and said they will not implement in their state. So this is the attitude we are having. This is the kind of politics people are playing. So with that, what can even the Minister of Road Transport can do? But they are doing their job, building beautiful roads, and they are doing the best possible things. And coming to IRAD, IRAD is a portal, web application, wherein it is called Integrated Road Accident Database. They are collecting the whole data about all the accidents reported. And with that, it contains the details of the engineering, road engineering, how the accident happened, what happened in the accident, if there are camera footages, that if there's anything wrong in the construction of the road and all, they're trying their best to rectify. They're trying to analyze the causes and reasons for that, and then trying their best to rectify. All that Ministry of Road Transport is trying their best and doing it. Fantastic. Nobody can blame them for not doing that. But only one request from the insurance industry is, because Supreme Court, the Honorable Supreme Court also wants claims of third-party claims to be settled faster. Nearly 40 to 45% of the total cases pending in the country pertain to motor accident cases. And they don't want cases to languish in the courts for years and years on, and then people not receiving the compensation and suffering. So they say they want early claim settlement, and they have come up with several judgments and directions and all that. And in that process, one of them is that they have asked the insurance industry to develop an app wherein the police will be able to upload immediate accident intimation and various other documents that are needed for an insurance company to settle claims. All these documents, they want to be built by us so that they will be received by us in that portal, and insurance companies and motor accident claims tribunals should be able to access them. And based on this accessing, and processing, within 30 days of receiving a detailed accident report from the police department, insurance companies are ordered to pay claims within 30 days. So this is maximum the Supreme Court can do. They have laid down a path, and then they said, you tread in this path. But for us to develop a portal wherein the police to upload the documents and all is not an easy one. Here, what happens, a road accident, until it happens, it's a traffic issue. And once an accident happens, it's a crime. And a crime under investigation, any documents pertaining to a crime under investigation are confidential, and they cannot be just uploaded into any portal developed by anybody. And after all, in the eyes of the police of 30 states and 5 union territories in the country, GI Council is a private body. And tomorrow, if I approach a private IT vendor to develop a portal, and wherein if all the police crimes under investigation, that is the road accident crimes under investigation, to be uploading the documents, it becomes a problem. They would have their own reservations in doing so. And moreover, there will be a multiplicity of the same job. Like they're already uploading documents into IRAD. All the documents that insurance companies need to settle claims have all been visualized by the Ministry of Road Transport, and then they are collecting in the IRAD. So what we are requesting from the GI Council is, instead of we developing one more portal and asking the understaffed police all over the country, I'm talking about police all over the country, and to keep uploading it to our app also, and to stick to timelines and all that, is making them do the same thing twice, thrice, 4 times and all that, multiple times. So to avoid that, what we're saying is, since you are anyway uploading them into IRAD, we wanted from that IRAD these documents to flow into a sub app, and all the insurance companies and all the motor accident claims tribunals in the country are given access to that sub app, so that the relevant documents pertaining to insurance claims can be accessed by us, and we be able to offer the settlement to the victims within 30 days as prescribed in the Supreme Court. So all that we want, General V.K. Singh sir, is that we want access to the IRAD's EDAR. IRAD is creating an EDAR, further EDAR, and within EDAR, all the police and accident-related documents are coming in, where we insurance companies and MACTs to be given access, so that we can download the documents, process the claim, and upload the claim offer, settlement offer, so that it can be accessed by the interested parties. It can be done in a very simplest way. Whereas in between, what's happening, Supreme Court has been repeatedly telling us to develop this app in 2 months. And it's not just me developing something. It has to be done in consultation with the police. It should be acceptable to them. And there is something called National Crime Records Bureau who have to give permissions, and they come under Ministry of Home. So running after them and getting the required permissions itself will take more than 2 months for us. So how can we develop anything in 2 months? And all this will again lead to, even if we develop something, it will lead to duplication and triplication of work on the part of the police. So to avoid that, we have been requesting, and fortunately, luckily for us, General VK Singh's department, they have agreed to be of help to us. They are trying to provide the access. They said they will advise NIC to develop, National Informatics Center, which is a central government agency, for themselves to develop the requirements suitable for the insurance industry, so that this matter can be also attended to. So this is what is happening. So we have no complaint. We only request to Ministry of Road Transport. And coming back to the issue of road safety, I have to tell you that insurance comes in after all the measures taken by every agency, as mentioned by all my former speakers. After everything happened, in spite of that, if a road accident happens, then we come into picture. Our job is then to compensate the financial loss suffered by the victims in case of a death, or in case of a grievous injury, or in case of a loss of limbs, whatever it is. We need to get the matter assessed fastest and pay the compensation the fastest. Insurance industry is always ready. I think we are the most misunderstood. If at all there's anybody in the world who are misunderstood most, it is the insurance industry that is misunderstood. Insurance companies don't pay money from their pocket. Insurance officials don't pay money from their pocket. It is the money pooled from all the people exposed to the risk. From out of that, we make a fund, and from them we pay to the genuine victims to the extent that they actually suffered a loss. That is because we are trustees of the fund. So that is where we need to be cautious about whom we are paying, how much we are paying, what we are paying, is it going to the right people, the right way, all that. So that is where, there can be some delays here and there happening. And that is where sometimes, we don't get the required documents or information in time. Till recently, we have been getting even claim intimations. We come to know 3 years after the accident, 5 years after the accident, we get an intimation saying that somebody somewhere suffered an accidental serious injury, and then he needs compensation. So, and then the courts, of course, in the name that people are illiterate and not aware of law, they permit them to apply even later than the limitation period is over, and then they entertain the claim, and then we are asked to pay. And then it takes time for us to get the information and all that. So that is where the new IRAD is going to be of great help, by gathering all the information in time and making available to us, and then we'll be able to do it. So insurance industry is most interested in settling claims much faster, because if the money is remaining with the insurance company, once a claim is intimated, we create a reserve. If that money is lying with us, we may earn 5.5% interest, but court awards interest to the victims at 9, 9.5%, 10% also they have given. So it's not in our interest to hold to the public, society, and then be helpful to people. But okay, Sarmaji. This thing, support and
let me quickly bring in the honorable minister in case he's still there, because systems camera. General Saab, now it's a long time we've been waiting, I guess. The Insurance Council wants a relook at the IRAD regulations. General VK Singh Saab, they are looking at the IRAD rules, the database to be, there should not be reinventing of the wheel, as this says. Your views?
We only want access to the EDAR. That's all. EDAR is nothing but a part of IRAD, and then we want access to that. We and MSCT will be given access, so that our job is done. We'll be able to access the documents and settle the claims faster. And I'm sure they are doing so. Their department. I have no complaint against the ministry. I only need some expeditious permissions need to be given to MSCT. That's all.
We will have, just let us hear out the honorable minister of state.
So I'm sure if you have approached us, you will get what you want. We are all in this game only to ensure that things become better. So yes, please approach us, and we will give you what you want.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, sir. Thanks a lot, sir.
General Saab, politically the country has a structure wherein road safety from the state's perspective, it's a kind of, the most of the accidents, most of the commotion which is caused on the roads is also because of the public transport, vis-a-vis the autos, the rickshaws, and all these kind of things. And these are all vote banks of the political dispensation having rule over those states, especially the states like West Bengal, Tamil Nadu, and all that. What would you have to say to that, from the state perspective, from the federal perspective? How can these things be taken care of? This is one question I'd like to request you to answer.
Amit, let me once again ad nauseum repeat, road safety is responsibility of everybody. It's not just the government at the center, but everybody. There are a lot of things which are in our system, which are state subjects. Law and order is a state subject. Most of the things which concern road safety come under law and order. The traffic police is under the state. The police is under the state. They have to implement things. The regional transport officer is under the state. So if the state is aware, a lot of things will happen correctly. If the state is not taking interest, a lot of things will go wrong. The checking on the roads, the ensuring that the lane discipline, these are all parts of the state responsibility. So let's not separate it out. Within the constitutional obligation given to a state, a state does a good job, it will ensure that overall the country will benefit.
Sir, this is fine, but anyways, and the next issue that I'd like to flag off is, so the aggregators and the gig economy, mobile usage is very detrimental and directly proportional to the kind of chaos on the roads. Usage while driving, the mobile usage. But the aggregator economy, the Uber, Ola, and all these things, this is completely something which is mobile driven. How do you ensure that this anomalous situation in a growing country and economy, which is depending on the gig economy, can take care of?
I've gone by some of these vehicles myself. They have a system where he is not actually holding the mobile. He's got a system to be connected to it through his earphones, and he receives the instructions. It's perfectly fine. He's not on the mobile 100% of the time. And let me also assure you that most of these aggregators have a speed limit laid down. You may be wanting to go fast, they will not go fast. And therefore, there is an obligation that we have taken from them when we meet them, that they will ensure that they train their drivers when they take them on board to follow the rules which will ensure safety on the road.
Sir, it's nice to know that there are some undertakings that have been taken from the aggregators. We also have somebody like Ms. Manimala. She the last 10 minutes on the show, 10-15 minutes on the show. We have somebody from NIMHANS also, one of the senior professors, the Mental Institute of Health Sciences, Bangalore. Shantalaji and KBN Manimala, two medical doyens, along with Dr. Chabar. But in brief, 2 minutes each. Shantalaji, Shankara Eye Foundation CEO. Madam, your views on eye traumas and road safety, 2 minutes, and then Shantala Egde, then we start the closing remarks.
Thank you, Amitji. My sincere regards to Balakrishnan ji, Mr. Thakur ji, and Mr. Tiwari ji. Sir, my views will be limited to eye care. What we have done is, when we try to check road, all these people, we have identified that at least minus 2.5 power is there in at least 5% of the population, 5% of the drivers. With this kind of a power, how do you think they will drive correctly? So I feel eye checkup should be one of the first things to be implemented before giving the license. That is first point. The second point is, none of us know there is a disease called glaucoma, where the field vision is lost. So when a person, even that person also may not know. People above 40, if they get this glaucoma disease, then their field vision is lost. So they will not know what is happening on their right and left. They will also not know unless this is detected. So because of this also, the accidents may happen. So currently what we are doing is, we are checking this voluntarily for majority of these truck drivers and the local auto drivers and Uber. We have also suggested Uber and Ola drivers also we will do. we are trying to tie up with road the police, and we are also requesting them to send these drivers for the checking. This we are doing. It has to be done. It has to be done mandatorily to everybody who drives. Their glaucoma should be checked up, their eyesight should be checked up, without which, and their color vision should be checked. And some people may also have a night vision. And if they can't see, how do you think they will drive? They may be expert drivers during the day, but night when they drive, if they can't see, how many of us know before we issue the driving licenses? How many of us know whether their eyesight is perfect or not? So this has to be part of the driving license system. Otherwise, this also will lead to a lot of accidents. Thank you.
Thank you, madam. Thank you, madam. You've treated John Major. It's a pride for the country because the top people from the world have come to Sankara Foundation, to your institution for getting treatment. Congratulations. As Indians, we are proud. Nimans is another institution. General Saab, we've also got National Institute of Medical Health and Applied Sciences with us. Shantala Hegde ji, you are sending some presentations. I'll forward it to the minister, honorable minister. Your views, 2 minutes, madam. Mental history.
I couldn't get your question. I can't hear you.
Sir, the question is not to you, sir. Shantala Hegde, representing National Institute of Medical Health and Applied Sciences, mental trauma after road accidents, the way Nimans tackles the entire thing. Shantala ji, 2 minutes fast.
Namaste. Sorry, my camera isn't working, so only my audio will be heard. Namaste, VK Singh ji. Shantala again, because we had met during the music related discussion. I have shared 3 documents already. NIMHANS, of course, is the institution leading in trauma and neurosciences and neurosurgical conditions. Many of the cases that we see is road traffic accident. It's one of the leading cause of head injury. There are other causes of head injury as well. And the key thing is mild, moderate, or severe head injury would lead to a lot of neurocognitive deficits. Of course, the neurosurgeons will do their best to suture the brain and skull and do their medical treatment and leave it to the rehabilitation physiatrist, clinical psychologist, neuropsychologist actually to look into the neurocognitive functions. It is one of the leading cause of disability because we measure it through DALI. DALI as in daily wage, how much we lose, because many of the RTAs could occur in young generation in their mid 30s or 40s, and that affects their occupational functioning and going back to their near normal functioning. There is lack of awareness in terms of neurocognitive brain rehabilitation itself, which becomes an integral part of treatment sequelae, treatment program for patients who have had road traffic accident. NIMHANS being a tertiary center and limited number of manpower, we could only cater to some, but in the country, there is definitely need for many more trained personals who would be catering to this rehabilitation program itself. And that would include a physiatrist, clinical psychologist, neuropsychologist, because it's not just the person, subsequently it is the family also where there is a lot of psychological sequelae that needs to be addressed. And with regard to awareness, even for RTA is there. Like,
Shantala ji, we will be forwarding the documents that you sent to us to the Honorable Minister and the Ministry, and NIMHANS is anyways working very closely with the women.
As a multidisciplinary team, yes, we do a lot of work.
NIMHANS is anyways working very closely with the Women Ministry. So now, Women and Child Ministry. So now, Madam, I'll have to just bring in a couple of other speakers fast.
Sure.
Major General Ranjit, we'll have the public sector represented Mani Ratnas by Dr. Akhilesh Kumar Jain. Akhilesh ji, a former CMD, Rajasthan Electronics. Sir, CSR can be a real very big bonus for the road safety issues, and it can also help the insurance sector as a whole. What are your views from the CSR perspective?
So yeah, you truly said that through CSR board, I think the industry and particularly PSU can play major role. But in addition to that, I would also say that in fact, I have been listening to respected General Singh and other speakers. what I could see is that the more critical is we should differentiate between two kind of drivers. One is the honor driver, and other is the hire driver. So mostly the problem occurs with the honor driver, not with the hire drivers, because hire driver get the license through a thorough scrutiny. And not only that, when the driver makes any mistake, the owner or the other people in the car, they warn him. Whereas same is not true if the owner driver is driving the car. So that's one differentiation which we should do in all our walks of life. And the kind of training and everything which was being talked, yes, that is very, very important. The third thing which I see is very, very relevant. That's a technology in place, from driving license to vehicle registration to vehicle health to vehicle certification to the road safety standards to monitoring of all the parameters that's related to the vehicle or related to the transport. And here I have a suggestion that if we can involve all NITs and state engineering colleges, because they have a critical mass of civil branch, which is directly related to these issues. And if they are involved, they can probably do the dynamically, they can study the subject, they can modify and suggest some standards to the state government and to the central government as well. We did this kind of exercise when this driving license was made on the smart card some 15-20 years before. And that time we realized there's a lot of technology issues, and ultimately the regulation can only be in place if there's a technology in place. So that's just two things. So CSR fund definitely can be used for this purpose and should be used. It can be taken as the focus area. The second issue is that we should use technology extensively.
Okay. Thank you, Janji. Thank you, Akhilesh, Dr. Akhilesh Jain. You've led me to the next speaker and made my life easier. Vimal Vaklu is a former CMD of Telecommunication Consultants India Limited, one of the top leaders in technology space. He's working from a global perspective through technology, artificial intelligence. Dr. Singh is also there, the Minister of State. Vaklu Saab, your second views on use of technology for road safety in India.
Technology can play a big role, as rightly mentioned earlier. You know, one of the major challenges we face is, as was mentioned by many speakers, that driving licenses are being issued with impunity. So if we leverage artificial intelligence for that, and it's the artificial intelligence which really passes a person before he gets a license, I think things would improve quite a bit. The second factor is about the on the roads. Instead of having policemen on the roads who control, such undesirable activities like speeding and all that, once there is a proper monitoring with cameras and artificial intelligence, and people are caught and their license revoked the second time. Once there can be a warning, and second time the license revoked, then they have to sit again for tests. So that will be a major deterrent for people who sort of take laws with impunity. And there are a lot of issues mentioned during the course since 3 o'clock, that proper way of learning how driving is to be done, that is very important. We find that people, while moving on a crossing, they'll just drive as if, if they have to go right, they'll go straight into the other lane on the right side, without realizing that there could be traffic from the other side. And this is because of poor training. So the training skills need to be improved. That's very important. And of course, the other factors are there, but roads are another challenge. There have been major accidents on roads like the Taj Express Highway because of the poor quality of the roads. And it's again corruption. That's a big challenge. Here also, the quality the measurement of the quality can be done leveraging technology, so that it's not left to human beings as such, because that is the biggest problem with this country right now. Till things improve and people become more sort of, you can say, amenable to normal life, I think these measures like technology, artificial intelligence, and other measures will help. Thank you.
Thank you, Vakluji. Major General Ranjit Singh, one of the, he was also Vice Chancellor of a few universities, central universities, avid yoga performer at the age of 70 plus. He is one of the colleagues of General VK Singh, and also he's one of the juniors of General VK Singh, but he is a fantastic speaker, somebody who has supported the forum and the patron and the summit over the last 1 year. Major General Ranjit Singh ji, your views on the subject of road safety. Sir, 2 minutes to you. आपका माइक ऑन करिए, माइक ऑफ है.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Thank you, Amit. Honorable Minister, other speakers, thank you very much, Amit, for giving me a chance. Now, most of the points have been covered. However, firstly, we must thank the Honorable Minister and the government for having laid the remarkable, you can say, limit 27 to 30 kilometers per day road construction national highways, and there are good qualities. However, some points definitely, if we put the syllabi in education curriculum, schools, colleges, I think awareness will increase. There is no doubt. The discipline has to be very, very strict. There's no discipline at all in the roads. Now, Amit ji, I would like to quote Salman Khan, after having killing so many people, he's roaming on roads, just imagine, just because he's influential. So where's the law? Where's the law? The law has to be very strict. Had he been in USA, he would have been in jail. There's no doubt. Thirdly, total transparency in issue of licenses. And if somebody breaks the rule, his license should be confiscated. That way it happens in America or Australia. Very strict laws have to be there. Then Amit ji, overburdening of drivers also lead to many accidents. There's no doubt. Then while driving, mobiles, very common. Jumping lights, very common. Distractions while driving, eating burger. Just imagine, they keep jumping red light, pay a fine for 500 or give 200 rupees to the police chap, and they are left free. There's no speed limit. They enjoy on, in fact, India Gate. Motorcyclists, and they do a lot of acrobatics and all that. So there's no rule, in fact. Drowsiness while driving. Koi drug lete, koi daru pite. Then lack of zebra crossings, no doubt. In foreign countries, somebody said, zebra crossing, light aayega, you cross. And they are given privileges. But there's no zebra crossing in India. So compliance of orders hai hi nahi. Now lack of markings. Signal nahi hai. Signal hai to police wala kuch nahi kehta hai. There are police chaps, but they don't check. So there's no doubt everybody has to be disciplined. Students, teachers, police chap, and every person in this country has to be responsible to maintain discipline. And it's not the police, not the government. Government has given us good roads. It's our duty definitely to follow the rules. The rules are not being followed. And unless we do this, Amit ji, 15 people dying every hour. It will reduce. Of course, the total figures are reducing. Earlier, almost 5 lakhs accidents and 1.5 lakh deaths. This year, 3.6 lakhs accidents and 1.32 lakh deaths. It is reducing. Let us think positive. And the time to come, it will further reduce. I will not take much time. Thank you, Amit ji. Jai Hind.
Thank you, General Ranjit Singh ji. Mr. Hitendra Kumar from SDFC Ergo, I guess. Any final comments, sir? Mr. Hitendra Kumar Kothari? SDFC Ergo, any final comments? Okay, now let me close the show. We have General VK Singh Saab. Sir, you've been so kind and courteous. Sir, your closing remarks. And then the show will be closed by our closing batsman, Brigadier Ajit Apte, as always, and you're well aware of the last 1 year. But before Brigadier Apte, sir, your closing remarks on road safety, your ministry, the initiatives, how we can expect safer, better roads, safe for women, safe for pedestrians, safe for the kids, and something which, as a country, we need to go a long way before we reach anywhere near, safer zones. And Dr. General V.K. Singh Saab, Honorable Minister of State, Highways, Road and Safety Highways. General Saab, your mic is off, sir. General V.K. Singh, your mic is off, sir. Okay, he's on the phone. Let me again request somebody from, is there somebody from SDFC Argo who would like to speak on the show? Aishesha Lombard, Saurav, any final comments?
No, I think we have covered almost all the points, and it was lovely being part of this particular session. It was quite an interactive, and we have very insightful thoughts from everyone. And it has been an absolute honor to be part of such a wonderful platform with such stalwarts. Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you, Mr. Jaswal. Your views have been well recorded. And this is not just a summit. Let me also make it very clear to the entire audience that these are, sessions which are documented in the shortest possible way to take them forward with the policymakers in a direct one-on-one level, be it the DFS, be it the ministry, be it the PMO level, be it the politicians, be it the corporate world. The entire ecosystem is brought together by Vision India Forum to ensure that whatever final recommendations and bullet points that come out, though we cannot cover everything under the sun, we do try to touch upon and try to come out with some important notes which can be shared with the decision makers, and then reinforce those notes so that some action, and definitely we've seen a lot of action from whatever we've been doing in the last 1 year, in even the winter session of Parliament, so much so that even the street children issue, street beggar children issues has been taken up in the Parliament session last year, and there's a huge amount of activity is happening to ensure that beggars, kids, women are not seen begging on the roads all over the country. Now, let me also bring in, if General Saab is through with his phone call. General Saab, can we have some closing remarks from you, sir? General V.K. Singh Saab. Honorable Minister, General V.K. Singh Saab.
Yeah.
Sir, closing remarks from you, sir.
Hello.
And then the show closes with Brigadier Apte as always.
Has Ajit done his bit?
No, Brigadier Apte is somebody who opens and closes the innings for Vision with you as the Sachin Tendulkar of the show. Apte ji, वापस आ जाइए आप शो पे. I know you are the Southern Command's high command nowadays, but you have to be back to the show, back on the show.
I'm already on the show.
Jain sir.
Amit, I am already on the screen. I am waiting for
General VK to speak, and then generally if the minister speaks, nobody speaks after that. But our Vision Forum with General VK being a very big support to us, we know that we don't have any such walls between us. Brigadier Apte, me and General VK share a very good cozy space. So General VK, your closing remarks, sir.
Let me say that I think we have discussed a very wide field. There are 2-3 things which I want people to understand. There is a clear division of responsibility between the states and the center. If both the state and the center are not in sync, then things go wrong. And I'll give you an example. Take the Motor Vehicle Act. When it was amended, a lot of states wanted to do what they wanted to do, while the intention of the Motor Vehicle Act was to contribute towards the safety. Because if you do not respect law, if you're not scared of law, then you will do things wrongly. And most of our problems about road safety are because people do not understand the seriousness. I mean, suddenly you find 10 children, they come in the middle of the road when you are driving, and they want to stop the traffic and pass through. Not done. You have a zebra cross at a particular place, they don't want to go on that. But till the time these habits don't change, we will have a problem. And therefore, that is why we talk of awareness, we talk of education, we talk of how to ensure that things are made better. Where the road engineering is concerned, a lot of work is being done. Road safety is ensured by audit for which people go. We are also trying to employ the engineering colleges who have civil engineering as a subject to go on ground and give us independent feedback. So from our side, a lot of effort is being made. At the same time, if we have even half of this effort from the states, mind you, things will really improve. Tamil Nadu has done a great job. I'm quite sure other states can emulate the same. And lastly, I would like to say that it is most important that we save human lives. And therefore, the system to manage the people who are injured in the first hour, the golden hour, is most important. We need to all put our heads together and our might together to ensure that we create a system by which we are able to save human lives, get them to proper treatment, have means available in terms of well-trained paramedics and ambulances which are able to reach in time and resuscitate whosoever is a casualty. We are also looking at heli ambulances. It will come. As part of this ministry, we are willing to, we have already told the Ministry of Civil Aviation that we will, where required, in our places where we are creating other facilities, wayside facilities, we will also create helipads where the helicopter can land and take the casualties to the nearest hospital. So there is a lot that is being done, but I'm very happy that you have been able to organize this particular meet with a very diverse entities who have been able to give very good ideas. We have had many people who came up with brilliant views, and I would like to compliment you for that, and also compliment each and everyone who has attended this. Thank you very much.
So nothing would be working on the forum without people like you. And today also the entire world can see the dedication of a minister at your level, General of the Army, sitting here for more than 2 hours now, despite the UP elections looming large, and you will be under immense pressure from a political perspective. But sir, you know, you're right. The states need to ensure that the laws, regulations, and the law and order machinery functions pretty well. Because as I raised a point about the local vote bank and public transport being a reason for one of the big chaoses in the states. Now the insurance companies should take a note of this. Probably you should be having some discussions with the ministry to ensure that your claim slabs are organized as per the kind of laxities which are there at the state levels, because the 14 states that have been identified by the ministry for the maximum contribution for road safety indirectly means these 14 states, including a state like Maharashtra, one of the most probably commercial capital state of the country. Those kind of states with the highest GDP, highest SDI, those kind of states are also falling behind it a lot, when it comes to road safety issues. Now, if your insurance companies, Mr. Sarma, if you can listen, if you can have your insurance companies ensure that the claims, for example, somebody meeting an accident in rest 14 states, and the same person or different somebody of the same kind, same nature of accident in a 14 states of those listed in the risk category states, the claim settlements should be tweaked in such a way, then these states will start realizing that their vote banks will ultimately get affected if they don't take care of the law and order issues in their respective states. That is one session I had in mind. Any final comments from you, Dr. Sarma, to the Honorable Minister before we close with Brigadier Apte? Mr. Raymond Sarma?
No, nothing specific. It has been covered very, very widely, all aspects. I think if we can implement some of these suggestions, at least, there will be great improvement. Thanks a lot. Brigadier
Ajit Apte ji, we will always believing, though India doesn't have a cricket team, it's the BCCI's cricket team. But here we have our own cricket team, the Vision's cricket team. And we look forward to hearing the final comments from you, sir.
Thank you, Amit. Firstly, I'll echo General VK Singh's remarks. Compliments to you. I think at one point of time, I think you nearly had 100 audience today. That's a century. I only wish some Indian batsmen would have scored a century in this second one-day international, which is in progress, the way India is performing. But you scored a century, so congratulations to you. I think everyone has given wonderful views. I'll just echo one point. General Ravi Shankar gave out some wonderful points, 5 E's. I must tell you, 42 years ago, I was instructor in the academy, and we had a film being shown to all the cadets and the instructors called the defensive driving mechanism and road safety. And this was done, the film was an Australian film. And you'll be surprised to note what General Ravi Shankar has mentioned, all the 5 E's have of course been covered in a different format. But what he said was encompassed 42 years ago. And we used to show that film every term twice.
After 5 minutes, please.
Here is a point what Honorable Shri Shekhar Dutt ji mentioned. In the armed forces, our drivers are driving in very difficult terrain. They are driving with lack of sleep because of is discipline and carrying out compliances. Ultimately, I will say that what General VK Singh said, I'll summarize in 3 points. One is P, one is S, and one is C. The person himself is largely responsible to ensure safety on the road. He must be worried for his own head. He must wear the helmet. He must follow the rules. There is a beautiful saying by someone, which side of the road do you go? He said, keep in the center. Otherwise, actually, you're supposed to drive on the left side of the road. He says, keep in the center so that you can seize the opportunity, whether you wish to overtake the gadi ahead from the left or right. People don't even know from where to overtake. On a right-hand drive, you're supposed to overtake the vehicle in front from the right and not from the left. This also people don't know. The roads have been made with long stretches where you don't have a brake to turn around. Therefore, people do wrong side driving. So there in numerous cases which I can go on, but I think it's been a wonderful session, and personal, state, and center have a very important role to play. And what General Ravi Shankar said is absolutely correct. If these are categorized with the new automation and digitization systems, medical care, immediate evacuation, that is what happens everywhere. I think we can save lots of lives. So on that note, I'll say, Amit, informative and educative you organized today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Brigadier Ajita Apte ji. We will close this show today. It was a fantastic show. I wish there were people from the police and the education sector also, because invitations were sent to most of them. They have been part of the forum for a long time. Finally, between center and the states, General Saab, between you guys at the center and the state levels, especially the states wherein you are not the ruling party, let me say one thing. Arguments will only lead to, who's right. Let us not get into arguments with the states. The states also need to get into sync with the center and find out through discussion as to what is right, not who is right. Finally, life is important for each of us. We have had central ministers meeting accidents. We have had state ministers also meeting accidents. So let us ensure that we have safe roads, we have better life, and people should not milk this kind of issues. We have issues of, parallel societies trying to milk on these issues, the media trying to milk on a lot of things. We should ensure that the humanity overtakes all, personal agendas when it comes to road safety issues, insurance, medical, bureaucracy. Everybody should work together. Schools, academia, everybody should work together and take this seriously, because once it strikes you, there is no looking back. Jai Hind, look forward again. Namaskar.